I'm joined. Oh, now we're recording. I started doing an intro and everything, so I'll do it now.
Start again.
Greetings from the Nightmare Cabin. I'm joined as ever by my hetero life partner, my brother from another mother, Mr. Luke Nash.
Howdy. And it's daytime. What's going on?
And it's daytime, yeah. And it's not so bad, actually. I recorded a video yesterday where the sun, I unboxed the vinyl, and the sun was literally like that. It was like someone had a vampire film, you know, when they smashed the window and then, ah! But yeah, we're 4 episodes in, and this week we are doing Peace of Mind. We'll start with a bit of backstory, a bit of housekeeping. So what happens between Number of the Beast and Peace of Mind? Of course, we said goodbye to Clive Burr.
And hello to Nico.
A bit of controversy, really, about the what happened. I think if you read between the lines, Clive was, fucked over a little bit, but there's talk of him not being able to keep up. I think he was getting a bit burnt out, and I think it just at the right time. I think they just got an upgrade, really.
Yeah, let's not muck about. Nico is a better drummer.
It was obviously the right choice because Nico's been in a band ever since. He's a bit more of a fluid drummer, I think, as well.
He's a bit more of a presence as well.
Mm.
He gives them something on stage when he does pop his head up. The crowd love him. He's a bit of a fucking nutter, so it gives them something they didn't used to have.
Yeah, that's probably a lot of it as well. If he came on temporarily, if they're having a laugh in the rehearsal, having a laugh on the tour bus and all the things, they'd probably just gelled with him better on a personal level as well. No slouch, Nico, though. Beforehand, he was in the French band Trust, mostly known by most people, certainly me.
Antisocial.
Which was covered by Anthrax. I think he do a bit of drumming in a soul band once as well.
Yeah, I think so. He was also in Pat Travers. He's a proper hoary old rocker from back in the 70s.
Yeah, where do I know Pat Travers from? I think no, I know the name Pat Travers band, but I can't.
It's one of them names, mate. It's
I thought Thin Lizzy covered one of their songs, but no, that was Bob Seger. Metallica covered one of them as well, didn't he, Bob Seger?
Yeah, it did.
That's gonna.
Metallica did.
Turn the page.
That's the one. Yeah.
And Thin Lizzy did Rosalie, which I think Thin Lizzy's version's more famous, in all fairness. Anyway, so Nico comes in. Let's have a look at the Martin's nickname. I'm going to
You're going there.
There's an actual picture of him in this.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is Derek Dr. Death Riggs and Martin Black Knight Birch. I'm guessing Black Knight is a reference to Deep Purple.
Homage to Deep Purple. Yeah, that's what I thought.
The artwork.
It's a classic Eddie, isn't it? It's
Eddie in a rubber room. If you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, put me back. 10 points in the comments if you can tell me what that's from. On the back there, so an invisible hand holding some key, some mystical thing is opening a door for Nutty Eddie to escape. I'm assuming.
It's a bit weird one, isn't it?
I can't see the Grim Reaper in this though.
He's always there, isn't he?
That's one thing we've missed in the episodes. In the early ones, at least, there was always a Grim Reaper in the background.
Yeah. Old Derek Riggs. One of his things, wasn't it? One of his Easter eggs. I'm
guessing he's in this skyline somehow.
Yeah, it must be.
Shaped a Grim Reaper shaped cloud, maybe. I don't know, but I can't see it. So they went out to the Channel Islands to record this. Is this the album? I can't remember if it was this one or Power Slave, where they basically got sent somewhere to record, and they actually ran out of time because they got pissed.
I imagine it might be this one with Nico being in the band.
There was nothing to do but drink all day, and they just got nothing done.
Yeah. Says the man drinking his moonshine.
Yeah. And,
but it's the classic lineup.
No one likes a pisshead. Yeah,
Yeah.
Nothing ever gets done.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, it's the start of the classic lineup, isn't it? It's the famous five. You know, it's what many people consider to be the quintessential Maiden lineup.
Yeah, this is album number 1 of what's referenced also as the golden age of Maiden. Yeah, okay, if you insist.
Yeah,
I think for fans like me and you, I think we go deeper than most. I think the first 7 albums are pretty much a winning streak, but I know what you mean. There is a transition here as well. I think this is the new. There's no turning back from this point. This is what Iron Maiden have been building up to become in the first 3 albums. They've now arrived.
All roads lead to here, don't they?
I think this is in this album. You see Iron Maiden become the band Steve Harris always envisions Iron Maiden being.
Yeah.
Each step is a rung on the ladder. They're not quite there. Really good songs, really good performances, but this is where everything just finally comes together. Totally refined. There's not an ounce of fat, and probably the most direct in many ways as well, with incorporating everything that they've done before. I think what's worked for them, at least, they've kept and carried on, and anything that they haven't left is left behind, and we won't see it again going forward.
No, they expand from here on out, don't they?
Yeah. As I mentioned in the last episode, Number of the Beast for me is that bridge between the Ruskin Arms and Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, which they sold out on the final night of this tour, 140 shows. And apparently concluded with a sold-out night at Madison Square Garden.
Well, there you go. It shows the growth of the band, doesn't it? You know.
Yeah. So, anything you want to discuss before we get into the music?
Yeah, I mean, it's the first for Maiden because there's no title track. One of only 2 albums that doesn't have a title track.
Yeah, it is.
One of 3 because Matter of Life and Death doesn't.
Yeah.
But it's a weird one because you always expect the Maiden title tracks were always really, really fucking good.
Yeah, even Iron Maiden had it. Had the title track. Yeah.
You know, it was always a great song, but this one hasn't got it. So whether that's a conscious decision or whether that's just the way writing worked out or not, I don't know. But is what it is. Like I say, is it a new Maiden, a new fault they try to put in?
Is it or is it just something?
Or is it just coincidence?
I mean, maybe Eddie in the straitjacket and Peace of Mind was the lyrics from Still Alive. Did they just tag that?
Yeah.
For that, really, rather than maybe that had more to do with it than anything else. I'm surprised they didn't use the Trooper, actually. That's more an iconic.
Yeah, I've got that in my notes for later. That's it's a much better Eddie, but there you go.
Yeah, the Peace of Mind. Obviously, you got the brain in the dining.
Yeah,
I didn't see this until I got this edition actually. Although it is in this, but it's right buried in the booklet. This is full of live snaps and studio shots and I say holiday shots. It's them on tour.
Yeah.
So we'll get into it. If you're ready, yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Right, kicking in with Where Eagles Dare, and it's not an accident. The track opens with a drum introduction. That was them introducing.
Yes.
Us.
Hello, Nico, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do your worst.
That was a conscious decision. Yeah.
Yeah, it was big time. And it's the iconic. He still fucking plays it now. I see his drum clinic last year, and that is his thing, and he still does it now. I mean, because the drumming in the entire song is absolutely crazy, and that is again a conscious decision. It's a case of right, you're going to play this. You ain't going to muck about. You're going to really show your stuff, and it is a look at me track, and rightly so because Nico is a cut above when it comes to drums.
What does it say? Right, you've got a drum fill. What is it? sewed a little bit at the end of a riff, say, that leads into the next riff. So, classic example, Metallica, Enter Sandman, the dun 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 dun. That's the end of the riff.
It's a tail of a riff and a fill.
Is a drum fill a tail?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Well, it's the tail of a riff. That is that part of the riff is the tail, and the drums that go over that is the drum fill to fill the gap. Whereas this is obviously a drum intro because he never plays it again.
Well, there's a drum intro, but what I'm saying is, just talking about Nico's performance on the song, it feels like one long drum fill because it feels like he's constantly going somewhere.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
But we never actually get to a straight part of the song.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's mental to play as well, you know.
And I will say, and I don't dislike the track in any way, but it's got to be said, this is a Thin Lizzy song. It is. I remember even picking my wife up from, can't remember where. I think this song was on the radio. Although I was playing a lot of Iron Maiden at the time, getting my son ready to check out. We was taking him to see him, so I was playing a lot of the songs from the set list, so he was familiar when he went to see, because 9-year-olds are fidgety after a while. But yeah, halfway through the song, she gets in the car and it's just that musical bit. So, and her exact words were, "What Thin Lizzy song's this? I've not heard this one." And it is from the leads to the rhythm, even to the drumming.
They were an influence on everyone, weren't they? You know, there's no denying that.
It's never been more prevalent though on this track, and I'm not knocking it. The thing that really sort of sets it apart from Thin Lizzy is the vocals, because Phil Lynott never went that. Would never have been
Dickinson goes crazy on this one.
Yeah,
really high. Well, it's not Dickinson, it's Harris, isn't it? He wrote it, so he said to Bruce, "You got to sing at this level." Yeah. And it's how they still play it now. I mean, Bruce in his obviously early 60s, Nico in his late 60s, because I opened Legacy of the Beast with it. And it's ridiculous.
Open Legacy of the Beast?
Sure, I opened the tour with it. Or was it second song? It's definitely... Oh, no, because I opened it with Ace's Eye, didn't I? Yeah. But it's a second song in, it's part of the War section.
Yeah.
But the fact they're playing Ace's Eye as an opener, which is 1,000 miles an hour, then straight into Where Eagles Dare, it's laughable, really. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, with that being said, as much as it reminds me of Thin Lizzy, so what? It is still a good Thin Lizzy song. Great leads, great lyrics, the way it tells a story with the shooting in the background. You do picture.
Yeah, it's based on a film, isn't it? You know, you must have seen the film.
Is it an old Clint Eastwood film?
Yeah, I think it's Clint Eastwood.
And all those old war films kind of blend in together for me. I used to see them all, like there'd be one on telly every weekend. I remember just sitting in my nan's house and there was always a war film on. So they all kind of 633 Squadron, and
this is one of them. So
but
it's for me. Is it? I'd go to say it's probably the best album opener of the four in terms of being in your face. Perhaps not song wise, because I prefer Prowler as a song. But the fact that it's just boom, here you go, 6-minute fucking beating, you know, because it's relentless.
Yeah, and it does, as we've always said all that it's all about setting the tone.
Yeah.
But this one certainly sets the tone. You know, you've arrived at a Maiden album with this. Yeah. You know, Prowler kind of comes out sort of straight at you. Really, there's no. Yeah.
But whereas I don't think they didn't really have time to construct the album. I don't think it's just a case of let's put the songs down in the best order with Phil. Whereas now you can tell they're making calculated, them and Rod, and Martin Birch making calculated decisions. I think, and it's like right, boom.
You've got like the Ides of March it's a sort of set piece introduction.
Yeah.
Before, and so where Prowler sort of comes out at you, Ides of March sort of sets the tone. This has got a nice. It combines the setting the tone with the attack straight away. Yeah. And like in Invaders, like I said before, that was more like an introduction piece, like an appetizer, and then the album begins This is no bang. We're hitting the ground running.
That's it. Yeah.
And you're already in 6 minutes. And yeah, I mean, did they open? I don't think I've ever seen or heard a concert from the World Slavery Tour.
It's one on the early days because
but that's
the show. But
it's only like a 9-track set, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think they opened the set with it.
They opened that with Sanctuary.
Yeah, I think that's what they did. I think that was the tour opener. To be fair,
you'd think there would have been Werribee there. I don't know why it wouldn't have been.
Yeah, because it would have been like no drummer, new song, new album. Here you go.
They would have been playing arenas at that point.
Yeah.
Lights down, so lights straight on the drummer, and then bang, band come out. Oh, yeah, perfect opener.
Yeah, it's a strange one.
Yeah. So you done?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, just props to Bruce for the old note at the end of the song. You know, proper showing his range. He's really feeling at home now, and to end that.
Yeah,
end this sort of song, which is. This is so many lyrics. It's just 6 minutes of fucking, like I say, it's relentless drumming. It's relentless lyrics as well, almost. And he's really fucking throwing them out there. And to still have the fucking life left in him, to have a note like that, to sort of see the song off is, it's a fucking bravo, mate.
Like I say, he's definitely settled in the band at this point, and the band have settled with him. And you can tell Steve Harris and the band in general really have they've discovered a lot of. They can do a lot more with the song, I bet, with that more vocal. Yeah,
I mean they're all in there now. And Adrian's well bedded in. They know each other.
Yeah, they're not. He's not limited with his writing. Thinking, right, Paul's got to sing this.
Yeah, that's it.
They can. He's discovered probably got a lot more freedom with what he can do musically and where he can take.
Yeah, big time.
So moving on. Revelations.
Yeah.
One of my all-time favourite Maiden songs. Great introduction. I love the sort of rhythmic, it's just the power chords, isn't it? Da, 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 da.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Straightforward for Maiden, really.
Well, you know why? Because this is Dickinson. He wrote this all by himself. And this is the first time that there's a song written by... Well, it's his first official writing credit.
Yeah, and it's solely Bruce, is it?
Yeah, solely Bruce, which is the first time someone other than Steve has solely written a song. Obviously, you had, Steve wrote with other people, and on Number of the Beast, Gangland was written by Adrian Smith and Clive Burr. And considering how shit that was, I'm surprised Steve let someone else come in with a song. But when Bruce comes in with a song like this, you're like, you know what? Fucking off you go, son. And it, like you say, it's a classic song.
Yeah. Love, great. The way it just goes from
so many levels, isn't there? Peaks and valleys, it's everywhere.
Again, you got a standard sort of rock rhythm, really. That's just a dun, 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 during the verse.
It's almost
the chorus with the clean guitar. It's got like a, sort of proto-prog, really, elements to it.
Yeah.
And then again, just a simple da da da. And I do prefer...
Written for the live crowd, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've got to say, I do prefer live versions of this.
I prefer live versions of the entire album because I've always had a problem with the production on this album.
Yes.
I don't listen to it that often because you think you got Martin Birchin finally. The days of the debut album are behind them.
Yeah.
You get Killers, which has got ballsy production. Number of the Beast certainly has. And you come along with this and it's like, what the fuck? It's like...
Yeah.
The drums aren't there, to be fit to not really. And to have your new drummer in, Nico's playing some amazing stuff on this album, but you can't hear him because the drums are produced like fucking this hideous. And it's a fairly weak album, and that's why I have a problem with the album in general, and I'll always gravitate to live versions because they're full of bollocks like they should be.
I think I've got kind of a theory that I've always said anyway. I think a good band should be better live. I mean, another one of my favourite bands is The Who. I don't ever listen to any of their albums. I only ever watch live stuff or listen to live stuff.
Well, production values back then weren't the best anyway, were they? To get
not only that, the Pete Townsend. I agree with you, but a little contrary to what you're saying. Pete Townsend was a bit of a studio nerd, and he would just as soon as he got in from like 8 track to 12 track to this track,
Yeah.
And when synthesizers came in and that, he would just be there all day adding all sorts of shit on top. Right. To the point it was just when they played live, they had to strip down guitar, bass, and drums. And the song sounded better for it. It cut a lot of crap out. But again, I think there was a time in the 70s. I'm digressing slightly, but I'm making a point.
You'll get back there.
But bands' best albums were their live album, and I think that rings true with Thin Lizzy. I mean, anyone says, "Oh, what do I get into Thin Lizzy?" I go Live and Dangerous. Simple as that. Live and Dangerous, then Black Rose, or but Black Rose came after. I think UFO, Strangers in the Night. Is that Strangers in the Night?
No, that's Saxon. 747 Strangers in the Night, isn't it?
What's the UFO? There we go. Yeah, it's Strangers in the Night.
Right.
Yeah, live album Strangers in the Night. Which, by the way, reissue here. Liner notes from Steve Harris.
There you go.
That's worth Steve Harris's time to write.
Yeah.
So I do think a band should sound better live than the studio, and although studios have got better, I do think there's something a lot of live bands today should keep in mind. Yeah, you spend all this time trying to sound awesome in the studio, but live
you got to be able to do it live.
Yeah. But yeah, back to so that rings true with Maiden as well. Basically, is what I'm saying. So Revelations is a great song.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, talking about obviously going back to the production, like and live and stuff. This is the only album that sounds like a pile of shit, other than the debut, because when we get to Power Slave, that's got some bollocks. So it's almost like whether they had too much time partying in Jersey or whether they fucking went and they go to Nassau or whatever in the Bahamas as well. So I think they may have been a thing, and they've rectified it with the next album. Because it really is a bugbear of mine, this.
Yeah, one common complaint with Maiden, though, is they do have pretty flat production. Like a lot of people do say, we wish they got a bit...
to be fair, that's down to Martin Birch, mate, because when Kevin Shirley came along, Brave New World sounds like $1 million.
Yeah, that's where I'm different with you, I think. Kelly Shirley stuff sounds big, and I'm sure it's great if you've got a surround sound... But I don't know. Again, there's just none of that, to him. And I think
good job we ain't here, mate. We'd be fighting.
Bruce addresses that with Chemical Wedding, and I think there is a song on Book of Souls where they do actually drop down in their tuning. I can't remember what song that was.
They dropped down before that. They actually dropped down on X Factor.
Did they?
Look for the truth. It's in drop D.
Oh, really? Because that's another thing with X Factors. Like the one thing I think with that is if it was a bit heavier,
it was.
It would be. People who don't like it might appreciate it a bit more. But yeah, debates for
another
down
time.
The line. So yeah, Revelations is a staple in the band's canon. One of their greatest songs, in my opinion. Both prefer the live version, but. No harm, no foul.
No, that's it. I mean,
classic.
And also more wizardry on the bass from Steve, because he's all over it. I've been listening to these albums with headphones for the first time. Well, not for the first time, but normally when I listen to stuff, it's in the car. Yeah. But I've been listening to them late at night with headphones on, and you can really hear the bass doing fucking ridiculous stuff. Like I say, the lead bass, third guitar thing. Again, Steve Harris he's on another level.
He is. He's awesome. So on to another classic, Flight of Icarus.
Again, not written by Harry Harris. Second song in a row. Adrian Smith, Bruce Dickinson.
I normally take notice of this, but I've not done as much prep as I'd like with these episodes because they're quite rapid. And
I only really do it. You only really notice it with Maiden because obviously with Metallica, everything's written by fucking James and arranged by Lars. It might be an odd riff here, but I think Maiden are the only band where they've got so many songwriters where someone will come in and go, well, I've got this done pretty much. Here you go, fucking learn it. Or there'll be 2 or 3 of them will split off and collaborate. I could be wrong, but from what the bands I've noticed and looking at CD inlays and all that, it doesn't seem to be shared writing like there is in Maiden.
Yeah.
And it's one of the reasons why Maiden, I think, have managed to go so long, because there's not one man being tapped like a fucking, like a puppy factory where this whole just being forced to churn out stuff. You spread about with excellent songwriters, and it proves a point on this, on Revelations and on this track as well.
Funnily enough, another band that does that is Cannibal Corpse.
Are they?
Yeah, you will see in the writing credits there may be an album where one of them just drops off, but then they'll dominate another album, and you'll see they're another band that come together with written songs.
Yeah,
and go right, and there's no apparently just everyone's pretty cool. They just go, yeah, fair enough. These are the best 10.
Cool.
No ego. Get on with it.
That's great.
Where was we? Flight of Icarus. Then one of the, it's got that anthemic chorus. I mean, it's become the song that's always meant to be on this latest tour, with the massive Icarus and the flamethrowers.
Fucking flamethrowers, yeah. I mean, it's the first time they played it live, isn't it? For 32 years or something. I
know they played it on the. I got into the song from the Live After Death album. I always watched the video.
32 years, because when they toured, obviously, Legacy of the Beast 2018.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't know if they'd played it since.
No, they hadn't. It was like, they bought it out of retirement, and like you say, now they. Like say, give it all the pomp and glory that Dickinson is obviously now bringing to the shows. He's a showman, isn't he? Now he's not just a vocalist. No. Like you say, fucking flamethrowers and all that. I mean, who thought that was a good idea?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a time before he's not even going to hold a mic anymore. He's just going to have and have synchronised dancers.
Yeah, fair play to him, because he's the reason. He's one of the reasons Maiden are still what they are, because he runs around stage a million miles an hour. People go on about the Stones been going for 50 years and all this bollocks, but you look at them. Mick Jagger prances around on stage. The rest of them don't fucking move. Yeah. And full well that they got to take 6 months off to fucking bathe in the blood of virgins to get their strength back again.
When you see their tour schedule, actually, it is just like you're doing like fucking a gig a week.
Yeah. Whereas Maiden are doing fucking 5 days a week, 2 hours a night. And they're all zipping about like maniacs. It's testament to them.
How you doing? You all right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So Flight of Icarus. One for the video as well. Nico plays Icarus.
Yeah.
Not much really.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably Maiden's heaviest song, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you think about it, if it had better production, it'd be right in your face.
Yeah, it is a pretty heavy riff, actually.
It's weird with production, because the guitars are produced really well. The guitars and bass are quite weighty, but there's just nothing in the drums. And a song like this, because Nico plays it on the floor toms, and floor toms by nature are fucking boomy and fucking in your face, but it's just nothing there. And that's why live, it's like, oh fuck, it's a monster.
Yeah.
It's the first time you really get to appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. Great solo as well. Great melodic solo. And
another crazy long note by Bruce at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. So far, they're not skipping a beat.
No.
I think which things come down a peg or two, but not in terms of quality, but Die With Your Boots On kind of takes things back to the Ruskin Arms days, really.
Yeah, and it's weird because this is the first, I think, of the Holy Trinity of Smith, Dickinson, and Harris. It's the first time they collaborated together. And as you go through the future catalogue, you'll see that those three names produce some of the finest tracks that Maiden ever fucking made. Those three in some order.
Yeah,
they really got their shit together, and this is the first one. It's a weird one because it's I think it's a great little song, but it's quite reserved on the album.
Yeah.
Again, it might come back to the shit production, because if you listen to this on the old Made in England video, it's fucking great. It's upbeat, it's fast, it's got some weight to it. It's urgent. This doesn't sound urgent on the album for me.
Yeah, it's
although it's a great catchy song.
It's energetic as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think as well, when you've got songs like Flight of Icarus, it's got, you've got these big vocal performances, you've got these big complex riffs. Revelations is quite a complex song arrangement. While this one is just just straightforward head banging. This is just a heavy metal song.
Yeah,
simple as that.
And but not filler. It's the sort of song that could be filler, but I think they've tried to drag it above.
It could be filler for them, but it'd be like a highlight on a lesser band.
Not to say this is filler, because I quite like the song. But
no,
again,
it's not.
I will always search out the Made in England version.
You can see there's steps forwards in the songwriting abilities on display in those first 3 songs.
Yeah.
And then this is kind of
this is back to, like you say, back to the old days, just fucking full on.
I can tell you a prime example is them going, like, it's trying to please the old schoolers. Going, well, where's the fucking metal song? You know, this is all, and all of a sudden, right, this is fine. A prime example being like the Black Album of Metallica.
Yeah.
I think, is it Do Unto Others? No,
Holier Than Now.
Holier Than Now. That was a fast track, and it was like, right, we had to throw that in now because thrash heads are getting pissed off at this point.
Yeah, because the next song's Unforgiven, and they're gonna throw the vinyl out the window.
Yeah, so it's a bit like we're still the thrash band sort of thing. And I think this was basically right for those who just want to bang their heads and air guitar. This one's for you, sort of thing.
Yeah, but I think it does.
But you're gonna get it.
You know,
Spades is the next song. The Trooper. Well.
What more can you say? It's the most famous Eddie.
Yeah.
Is it the best Eddie?
That's subjective. I think the most
of course it is,
the most tattooed Eddie is actually Killers, funny enough. I think that's just because it's Eddie in his pure form, I suppose.
Yeah.
I think Trooper would probably be far behind it. It'd either be Trooper. Even Steve Harris has got the Trooper tattooed
on his arm. But I think this is the first album where Eddie really started to become his own thing. Although you see him on Iron Maiden, you see him on Killers, you see him on Number of the Beast with the devil and stuff, and then on Run to the Hills he's actually fighting the devil. But now it's a case of he's not sharing the fucking screen with no one. He's turned into a whole other monster, for lack of a better thing.
Yeah.
And it's almost, it's almost like you get into a case of, oh, fucking hell, it's a new Maiden album. Not so much about the songs, but what's the Eddie going to be like?
That's part of the package, definitely, yeah.
But it's starting to get to that point now where it's like, it always was the songs there, the artwork down there, but now you're like, Eddie's slowly creeping up, and you're like, fuck, if the album's really good, but the artwork's shit, what are we going to do? Like,
Oh, yeah,
he's sort of got to his own level. It's like,
It's quintessential, yeah. And, they definitely did the right thing by buying Eddie off of Derek, because say Derek got run over by a car or something. Or when they did eventually fall out of him.
Yeah.
And apparently he's quite venomous towards the band as well.
Yeah, he's back with them now, isn't he? Obviously,
is he?
You can tell some of the later Eddies, because you can tell some of the Eddies weren't him, but some of the later ones, more recent ones, have been Derek Riggs.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wonder what happened there.
But money talks, mate. I ain't being funny. All due respect to Derek, but he got to pay the bills, hasn't he? Do you know what I mean? But
I think he could have got like some Dan Seagrave thing going on though, where you're fucking dumb if you think he's going to come up with a mascot. But I'd happily have like Derek Griggs do an album cover. I don't care about a mascot, like a figure in the middle.
Yeah, just do it.
But listen to the album and come up with your own thing.
Yeah.
And Dan Seagrave, who's like the most common artist in death metal realm. Getting a Derek Seagrave album cover is kind of like a rite of passage from a death metal band now. And they're just like, and bands just go to him, do whatever you want as long as it's you.
Yeah.
We've got a Dan Seagrave, but I'd happily do that with Derek Griggs. Definitely. If anything, giving him a bit of freedom.
Yeah,
I think it'd come up with something fucking crazy. Bruce used him, didn't he, on Accident of Birth?
Yeah, it was Accident of Birth, wasn't it? Yeah.
Speaking of Eddie, I'm going to give you a devil's advocate question. Are Iron Maiden better than insert band name here? No, Iron Maiden are better. Yeah, but if insert band name here had Eddie, they'd be bigger than Maiden. Or they're just as big as Maiden.
Like I said, I just said just now where it was a case of Eddie's becoming level with the songs, but let's not fuck about. there ain't no other band writing songs like Maiden. You know, there's no other band who are doing, because if that's the case, why are Diamond Head fucking playing to 4 people? You know, they're playing new wave of British heavy metal. You know, why are fucking Toad the Wet Sprocket no longer about?
Yeah.
All to do with songs, mate. This comes back to the argument the discussion we had about Exalta and Pantera with the similarities.
Yeah.
You know, Exalta didn't write fucking Cowboys from Hell, otherwise they'd be fucking.
Which Exalta even say, we never wrote Walk. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, no bollocks. That's, you know, bands have tried and they've tried to have their own mascots, Vic Rattlehead and all that.
Yeah.
But Megadeth ain't on the same level as Maiden, no fucking way.
Yeah. And like I say, the Exalta Pantera debate isn't between the band, it's between.
No, they're mates, aren't they? Phil and Kyle, they're mates. So it's
similar thing between Mushroom Head and Slipknot. It's like, no, the bands are fine. It's not.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fanboys, isn't it? Losing their minds.
I do kind of get it a little bit, but the people that know say the fucking kid that gets an Iron Maiden t-shirt and Topshop, he's bought a cool looking t-shirt, he's not interested in the music, he's not going to go, oh well, I like Judas Priest now. It's, you know, he's not going to be interested anyway, so yeah, it might have got him a bit more money with that, but then again,
they ain't fucking silly, because they see the thing that they could make some fucking money out of it, because that's what Rod Smallwood. He's probably the greatest manager in the history of music. Yeah, because he sorted them out from day one, because they've never been commercial.
But what I'm saying is they found an element to make them more visually. Made a visual impact. When you see Eddie, you see Iron Maiden, you know that's Iron Maiden, even if you've never heard of the songs, you kind of know who Iron Maiden are.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that zombie skeleton guy, you know.
Yeah, but again, for me, that all comes down to Rod.
Good luck to them for coming up with that. Then is the answer there, isn't it? And if another band, if they thought of it first, they would have done it, and if they didn't, well, they didn't, so they didn't, and that's all there is to it, you know. And and the fact of the matter is, they are a better band. That's all there is. That's it, you know. Yeah.
No, I mean, we're talking about songs. Well, we're talking about Trooper. I mean, what other band wrote the Trooper? No one. What other band came close to it? No one. I mean, in my notes, I've got down. You know, is it the best live song ever? The best sing along ever by any fucking band? You know, when that comes on, you've heard it a fucking billion times. This is, for me, this isn't like Run to the Hills where I've been worn down by it. Yeah. When the Trooper comes on, you're like, yes, fucking let's go.
Yeah. You know? I'm a little bit both. I'm a little bit burnt out with hearing the Trooper. Trooper isn't really a song I want to play, but I don't get sick when it comes live.
Oh yeah, because it's
live. It's
the energy in the arena fucking goes up, doesn't it? And the old flag comes out and fucking all that shit, and it's top banana.
Everyone's singing along with the wow section, and it's like being at a football game. And as I've always said, you know, being an Iron Maiden fan is like supporting a football team that never loses.
Yeah, it's a good analogy.
They just never fucking let you down, and
that's it.
Yeah, so I will never get sick of the Trooper being played live, but it's not a song I really go to listen to. But it works live, works a treat every time. So we're kind of in between Run to the Hills and, you know, but I'm burnt out on Paranoid, but I'm not burnt out on, say, with Thin Lizzy. Their most well-known song is Boys Are Back in Town. But Boys Are Back in Town puts me in an instant good mood whenever I hear it. I never get burnt out with that. So it's funny how different songs do wear you down and others don't.
But, you know, going back to this, I mean, I would always seek out the live version of this if I'm putting it on a playlist, because, again, the wanky production on the album kills this, because Nico's playing on this song is on a fucking another level. His footwork with the gallops underneath the solo. I mean, this is how it was always the debate of how the fuck is he not? He's got to be using a double pedal. He's got to be using double kick drums, because his single pedal work on this is fucking ridiculous. And you can't hear it on the album. If you put the album on and put it on headphones and you listen to the Trooper, you can hear no kick drum whatsoever. And it's like, how the fuck can that happen?
Interesting.
You're dealing with one of the premier music producers at the time. A band who have been together, they know the score. You can hear Clive Burr's kick drums. But then you write a song like this where Nick goes playing his fucking arse off, doing stuff that other drummers looking at it and going, what? And you can't hear him. You only got to put a live version on, and you can hear what he's doing, and it's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. But I think it's this production. It's like fucking hell.
That is true as well. No matter what bands Maiden tour with, I mean, you read it time and time again. The drummer just stands there. Like, do you mind if I stand behind your kit and watch you?
Yeah, just watch him.
Because every drummer seems to want to learn how to drum like Nico.
He's a savage.
He's very underrated as successful as he is. He doesn't quite get the.
No, he don't. When you factor in that the geezer's nearly 70.
Yeah.
And he plays 2 hours a night, and he's playing Where Eagles Dare and the Trooper and Hallowed, and they're all a fucking million miles an hour.
Yeah.
You know,
mind you, he has got about 100 drums, and that what is it? That's So I Don't Miss.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, but if you watch him, if you search him on YouTube when he does his cover band in his rock and roll.
Yeah, I've watched a few of them.
He plays on a 5-piece kit, like a normal drum kit, and you watch him playing the Trooper and Hallowed on this normal little kit. It's fucking crazy, but he don't miss a beat on that.
It does make me wonder, actually, because you like, from someone who doesn't drum, but I am in awe of drummers. So say you've got like a fucking, I don't know, David Van Halen. You know,
Alex.
you're just surrounded.
Alex.
David Van Halen. Alex
no,
Van Halen.
There's no one called
David Lee Roth, isn't it? Yeah.
Fucking hell.
But yeah, he's just got, you know, a typical arena show. Tommy Lee, you know, drums all over the place. This fucking thing.
Yeah.
Neil Peart, another good one.
Yeah.
To reduce down, say, like a 4 or 5 piece.
Yeah.
Now, would money be in no? You obviously, you're a drummer. You've not got those drums, but you can play that particular song.
Yeah,
on your drum.
You adapt it down to, like the crazy Tom Fields in Hello Bid I Know. You work them down.
What I'm saying is, are those drum kits, are they for show? Well, yeah, of course they are. But is there a purpose? So
I think
money and setting up not being a factor. Would you have one of those kits?
I wouldn't, because my writing doesn't extend to that. But people like
would
Nico,
it if you had it?
Yeah, no, if I had it, I wouldn't. I don't think. Yeah. I'd have a bit more than I've got. But people like Nico, he uses them. Neil Peart, fucking hell, I mean, used to use it.
Yeah.
Like Mike Portnoy, he uses a big kit because he's got, they're percussionists more than drummers. They've got the entire fucking thing going on. Whereas, you know, you got drummers like Lars. You know, people always fucking give Lars grief. It pisses me off because he's a phenomenal drummer, but he doesn't need it all. He's got a fucking 5-piece kit or a 6-piece, because I have this fascination with the John Bonham 2 floor toms, which fucking always makes me scratch my head. But they've got minimalist kit, minimalist cymbals, you know, because that's all they need. That's all they're right with. But you're talking about the drummers almost like percussionists, like Portnoy, Peart, and McBrain. McBrain sort of bridges the gap between drummer and percussionist for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. He's never been like a showman. Like, there's never been like a Nico drum solo either, is there?
No, he'll play. He did a drum solo on the World Peace Tour, because that's part of the reason they have the argument on Mission from Harry.
Yes,
to do with him extending his drum solo out, but that was only because he was a new member of the band. They always do it, don't they? I was a new member. Fucking off you go.
Was that what piece was that? I thought that was on the Power Slave tour. I thought that was
it come out on the 2 Minutes to Midnight B-side, but it was done
on
the
previous tour. Yeah. And that's probably why they dropped it. Yeah, good point. That's fucking funny. That is.
Yeah, I think we'll have to include that as a track on Power Slave, because
I think we'll do an episode just on B-sides. I think.
Yeah, because
the albums,
I was actually thinking about, because the B-sides on these early singles.
Yeah,
it's fucking great stuff. Cross-Eyed Mary and I'm the Fire and all that sort of stuff.
We'll do an episode just on B-sides, and I think we'll do an episode on live albums, but we're not going to do per live album. We'll just do an overview.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, just go through the albums. Like we're going through the tracks now, we'll just go through the albums and onto the DVDs and just cover it in one show.
Yeah.
So that's 47 weeks.
Yeah. This beard will be grey by the time I'm done. I'll be like Gandalf, fucking talk about Book of Souls, mate.
So we've not really spoke about the Trooper as a song. I mean, it's got a great riff.
Well, it's one of them, for me, it's one of them, what more can you say?
I just want to quickly go through it. You got the, what really hit, you've got that galloping riff with the melody of
yeah,
and then da 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 bam. It's just simple, like it was with Revelations.
I mean that riff is probably Maiden's greatest dual riff, because it was always a case of Murray and Smith playing the same thing. When it wasn't like riffs, it was melodies. Is there a better one than this?
Of course not.
You know, it's.
But what really hit it for me when I first heard it was the chorus with the wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's a couple of layered vocals there. It's like a chorus each year.
But written for no other reason than to get the crowd singing it, because there's no chorus there.
No.
It's just like, right, fuck it, this chorus is the crowd are going to sing it, and that takes some bollocks, because if no one turns up, that fucking song falls flat, you know?
Well, this is the thing. Some songs aren't meant to be played in a small place, you know. The completely different subject, but Noel Gallagher, he said, like, what made you think Oasis? Because Oasis weren't an original band by any shape or form. But, you know, Noel Gallagher went, a song like Don't Look Back in Anger or Champagne Supernova is not meant to be played in a club.
No, it's it.
It's meant to be sung.
But yeah.
He went, that's how it, and that's it. He went, Stone Roses never wrote nothing like that. You know. But yeah, that's the example.
Yeah,
we're not going to get into an Oasis.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But, so we're done with the Trooper.
Yeah, I mean, is it again? Just a fucking full stop here. I mean, as we said on Number of the Beast with Hallowed and Number of the Beast, this is a top 10 Maiden track, and it's probably a top 10 heavy metal song. You know, is there many better than this?
Yeah, it's,
you know what I mean?
It's an anthem. It really is just an anthem. Funny story, the drummer of Mastodon, he said that he was at an Iron Maiden concert and some guy was pissed behind him and he felt something on his leg and he turned around and this bloke had just pulled his knob out and just started pissing and piss was hitting him. And he went, I couldn't fucking hit him because the Trooper was on. Because if I hit him, I'd have been thrown out and I would have missed the Trooper.
Yeah. That's quality.
So, moving on to Still Life. Do you want to introduce this one or shall I?
Yeah, no, I'll do it. I mean, it's obviously the old hidden message, the old backwards fucking satanic, which is obviously Nico doing, apparently they recorded Nico doing an Idi Amin fucking sketch, and they just put it on backwards, just a way to piss off all the Christian right. Because apparently Nico said it's like they're taking the piss out of us, and it's like apparently he was quoted as saying, "If you want to take the piss, we'll take the fucking piss, me old son." You know, really just put it out there as bait.
Yeah, a lot of people forget as well. You know, some people to this day still think Iron Maiden are a satanic band, but Nico is a very outspoken Christian.
Was born again Christian now, yeah.
Yeah. And if there was anything that he rejected to, he'd be saying it, you know, and he'd probably be told where to go, but he'd probably leave as well. Yeah. That's how strong he is about it. He's
exactly.
Very, you know, not very. You know, he's not preachy or anything, but no, he's not apologetic.
He's a man who's got his faith, and he's a sort of religious person I like, because you know you got your faith, mate. Good for you. You know, you're not trying to force it on me. You're not trying to force it on others, and fair play to you.
Yeah, and that's it. So, Still Life for me is, and we've spoke about this, you know, off of the show, but Still Life for me is one of the underrated songs by Iron Maiden. I think it's just a fantastic song. I love the introduction, the melodic verse to begin with. The drums don't really kick in till, you know, maybe a good minute in.
Yeah.
But when it does, it just lifts the song up even better. It just builds up, and then when that chorus comes in, that nightmares, it's just fantastic. It's just one of those albums. It's one of those songs where they just hit the bullseye. Yeah. And it's everything I love about Iron Maiden is encompassed in this song. The melody.
I'm assuming you're talking about the live version and not the crap studio version, because
yes, of course. But this is my problem with it. There isn't that many live versions of it.
No, there's only one. They played it on the Seventh Son tour, and that was it.
Yeah.
So unless you've got Made in England, you ain't hearing it live. But that is I don't think they played it better. I imagine you could listen to every one of the bootlegs of that tour, and you probably wouldn't get a better version than that.
Yeah,
because everything, like I say, You are?
That Made in England was recorded in Birmingham, wasn't it?
Yeah, the NEC, just for Christmas, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But like you say, the song is fucking great. I mean, it's Dave Murray, his usual an album deal, and it's got Dave written all over it. It's fairly simple, but it's full of hooks, quality riffs, amazing melodies, and that intro is so eerie. I mean, the guitar almost sounds like a piano on the album.
Yeah. No, it's a beautiful song. It really is a fantastic song.
But live, it comes into his own, so much.
If I'd have stuck a $5 on it, actually, I would have said Adrian Smith wrote that.
Yeah, no, it was Murray and Dave and Steve. So, Dave don't write many, but when he does, they're normally like top end of the album sort of thing.
You sit up and take note, yeah.
And this is probably the closest you'll get to the title track, because there is a lyric, Peace of Mind.
Yeah,
so that's
Madness.
as close as you get.
Oh, Nightmares, not Madness. Fucking Madness. Yeah, Nightmares. I don't have a line now. I've got to draw on a blank. Here we go. Let me have a quick. Nightmares, spirits calling me. Nightmares, they won't let me be. And then on the. Where's the other bit? And then the second chorus, nightmares come in all the time. Nightmares will give me peace of mind. Yeah. And with the vocal effects.
Yeah, the old effect, yeah.
So I'm guessing that he must have showed them this artwork, and then they just went, yeah, right, he's gone mad, peace of mind. Yeah, done. I think that would have been it. Yeah. So they adapted to the artwork rather than other way around.
Yeah. It's almost symbiotic anyway, the relationship, isn't it? Like the themes and like the artwork and all that, they go hand in hand.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, Still Life, great song.
Yeah, it's a great song.
Album for me.
Unfortunately, it suffers again from the common theme, from my point of view, is the weak production, because the live version is phenomenal. So that tells you how good the song is, because they ain't different songs. They just sound different because they got different production, the live production compared to the studio production.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, this is where they should have stopped the album.
You think?
Because the rest of it drops down like Wile E. Coyote when he's on the fucking cliff edge, mate.
Right, so Quest for Fire, what do you think of... I'm taking it you don't like this song.
It's probably the worst Maiden song ever. And I'm talking about songs they ain't even written yet.
Oh, I don't know about
that.
It's
terrible. But... Fucking terrible. I mean, it's got a fucking great solo. It's wasted in this song because... it hurts my fucking brain just how bad this song is. Because all the rest of the album, all 6 songs so far, have been fucking great.
Yeah.
And you get this, and it's like, why did you even fucking not put it on the album? Why did you even write it? When you finished it, you actually said, yeah, that's really good. Let's fucking have that. Let's put that on an album. Let's immortalise that on vinyl. Fuck off. It's shit. It's a horrible fucking hideous lyrics. The vocal line's terrible. It's painful.
Yeah, it's not... You do see a bit of a drop in this part of the album, actually. The next 2 songs. I do think they come back onto Tamer Land, but we'll come to that when we get to it. Yeah, I think we're in filler territory now.
That's an insult to fillers, mate,
I don't think this... I mean, I wasn't particularly put off by this song in any way, but yeah, it's obviously not a song I go to. It's definitely a drop-off, though, from what we've got. It's kind of just straightforward, and yeah, Bruce's vocal line don't quite match with the music. It's like he's just kind of whilst the riffs is just
it's horrible.
But it's not a bad little chorus though. I don't mind. That's for Quest for Fire. But yeah, it is a bit.
I can't.
It does kind of drop off of me. But on to the next song then. This is the one, the chorus to Sun and Steel kind of annoys me a little bit.
It's weird because it's a Dickinson Smith song. Normally they strike gold, and it's a Dickinson song because it's about swords.
Yeah. That's all he sings about.
It's the start of his, I've written down here, it's the start of his Bruce's Sword trilogy. It carries on Power Slave, doesn't it?
Yeah, the duelist and.
But the old background on this is pretty mad. I didn't realise actually. I knew it was about swords, but I didn't realise it's actually based on on the life of a samurai, Miyamoto Musashi, who apparently was a fucking savage, like absolute assassin and legendary samurai. Okay. He's got fucking like, there's fucking poems and fucking all sorts of shit. I think they've even recently made a film about him where he does I think I read about it last night. Actually, it's a film that's got a 75-minute long fight scene that's one cut, and it's just him assassinating people. And it's quite strange because I'm obviously doing a review for this song, and then I read that. But apparently, the geezer is a total legend among samurai. He's like the top-notch samurai, and it's crazy. Unfortunately, this legend is better than the song. Bruce didn't really do it justice, I don't think.
Well, Kerry would be able to tell you about that, wouldn't she?
Yeah, she was sitting here nodding her head off as I was talking about it. So,
right. I'm just ringing. What's the guy's name again?
Miyamoto Musashi, Miyamoto.
Right. Ask her as quickly as she knows of Yukio Mashima. You hear me?
No, go on, say again.
Right. Yukio
Mashima.
Mashima sounds familiar.
Yeah, she's ringing a bell with her, but
because there's a metal band that has him on their actual album cover.
Oh, right.
Metal band, and it's just a picture of this samurai.
That's
and
cool.
in the thing it says, it's one word: discipline. A man who never missed a deadline for his writing or art. A man who identified the physical weakness within himself and sought to crush it. In his short lifetime, he left a body of work that consisted of 35 novels, 25 plays, 200 short stories, and 8 volumes of essays. An amazing biography that assured him a place in Japan's most celebrated author, and an athlete who forged himself a new body of sun and steel, which is why I thought you were talking about him.
Ah, right, yeah.
Yeah, apparently he was extremely disciplined in his exercise resume as well. I did it no matter what, and found time to write.
Yeah, she'll no doubt check that out now.
Yeah, but no, it's not him, so don't worry.
Yeah,
but yeah, the
it's a step up from Quest for Fire.
It's just an odd chorus. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
It sounds like he's singing an advert, like jingle to an advert.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, it's a step up from Quest for Fire, but seeing as Quest for Fire is like the musical equivalent of walking through dog shit, it ain't really hard.
I think there's worse songs than Quest for Fire.
Fucking hell,
I prefer Fest. I do think the album lulls on these two songs.
I'll take that challenge.
But Son of, I don't know, the chorus of Son of Steel just kind of gets in my ear for some reason, annoys me.
It's quite a jolly one.
Yeah, it's too upbeat.
You know, but yeah, I can see from that jingle, it's a weird one.
So, last track to Tame a Land. Based on the book June. Now, you did reference this story.
Yeah.
On the last episode, so I'll let you go into this.
Yeah, they wanted to call the song June, and obviously they had to get the permission from like Frank Herbert. So they went through all the thing to get, find his publicist and all this sort of stuff. And then Rod phoned them and said like what they were doing.
Explained.
And they got the message back was Frank Herbert doesn't like rock bands. He especially doesn't like heavy rock bands, and he especially doesn't like heavy rock bands like Iron Maiden. What a cunt!
Yeah.
What a pretentious arsebag. Yeah. So they said, right, fuck him. We'll obviously keep the song as it is, and we'll just call it something else. But I thought,
So it's still about June, just
unofficially. Oh yeah, totally about June. Yeah, I mean, actually, the June's actually referenced in the lyrics.
Yeah.
I suppose to Tame a Land. I mean, I've never really been that enamoured by the film or the book.
I tried reading the book, and it's not often a book defeats me.
Well, it tells you what sort of a wanker Frank Herbert is, then, doesn't it? Because books, good books should read it like they should write themselves, and they should be easily read. So fuck him.
Yeah, but and apparently the later one, it's a very pulpy book. It's very.
It's going to get a lot more notoriety now because obviously it's got a big budget remake, haven't you?
Yeah, which the Roke Brigade are going to ruin like they do everything else.
But for me, this is the song. No, it's the worst of the Steve Harris 7-minute jobs. It's bottom of the list by far. It don't really say much, to be fair. There's some good music in it, but it's kind of a letdown because you've almost been conditioned that when you see Maiden doing a 6 or 7 minute, they're almost always fucking awesome, and really take you on a journey. But I don't know whether it's a subject matter or not, but this doesn't do it for me, and it's unfortunately it sums up the last third of the album, because it's 6, 7, 8, and 9 kill the album for me. Absolutely kill it. It's almost like, fucking hell, why don't you just release an EP?
Yeah. Well, Sabbath, you would have got 2 instrumentals, and those 6 songs would have done you anyway.
Yeah.
When we were doing the Sabbath albums, it was like it sort of took the carpet out from under our feet a little bit how short the episodes were.
Yeah.
I quite like the song, actually. I'd be curious to see if they ever did it. To my knowledge, they've never played it live.
I don't think they have, no.
Unless they did it on the World Slavery Tour, I'm not sure. But if they did it, they would have done it then and only then, to my knowledge. It's funny. I think this is their first stab at an epic. Now, I know Hello Be Thy Name was an epic.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. It's not.
That was just a song that came together, and I think it was a long song.
Yeah.
By accident rather than by design. I think this was their first stab.
Yeah, let's
they
do
would go on to perfect. With,
let's take the listeners on a journey, sort of thing.
Yeah, the Ancient
Mariner.
Mariner.
Yeah, you're probably right.
And they probably went with Hello Be Thy Name. Sorry to.
No.
With Hello Be Thy Name, that was the climax. That was the epic closer, and I think they went. I think again that kind of happened by accident.
Yeah.
And then they went, oh, let's try and finish with another epic closer. Didn't quite. They tried to replicate what they did with Hello Be Thy Name, but they didn't quite know how they did Hello Be Thy Name.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And then they went on to do Rhyme of Ancient Mariner and got it right. And this was the first attempt, and they would get it right again with throw a dart at the thing.
Song they tried, yeah.
Passchendaele, Cold Wind Blows. It would always become the centerpiece for that show of that particular tour. But I love the introduction. I think that's one of my favourite Maiden sort of pieces of music. Really, just that mellow, that sort of. It's not really mellow, is it? But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think I had that stuck in my head once for days, and I couldn't remember where I'd heard it. And not point did my subconscious go, "Oh, it's an Iron Maiden song." I was like, where's that music coming from? And I think I like this sort of mid. It's kind of like a mid-paced.
Oh yes, it's quite. There's some heavy passages in it,
yeah. And when that riff kicks in, it's kind of got like a Middle Eastern feel, which makes me think that would have been an influence on sort of Nile,
Yeah.
And I wonder if Nile ever covered this track, like how they would dissect it and put it back together and make it their own song.
No, Maiden have always had the knack of when they do songs like this, they make you feel like with Power Slave, the riffs in that. Especially the end riff of Power Slave, it makes you sounds ancient Egyptian.
Yeah.
And, Alexander the Great makes you think of these mystical lands from the past and all that. They've got a way of getting you in the mindset.
They paint the picture with the melodies as well as the words.
I think they perfected it on a song that they don't really get a lot of credit for, which was Nomad off of Brave New World. That really puts you in the fuck. You can almost feel the fucking sand between your toes walking through the desert, like with the old cloth around your face and all that.
Yeah.
It really put you in it.
Funnily enough, Paul Di'Anno did a solo album called Nomad, which we'll get to.
Can't wait.
That's all right. It's one of his better ones. Well, that's me being charitable. But,
you're not selling it to me, Joe.
Yeah. Well, I'm more worried about you than me. But what was I saying? Yeah. So the song starts out well and good, but it doesn't really. It kind of just peters out at the end. Really, I can't even remember how the song ends.
Yeah, no, like I say, it doesn't say much. It attempts to say a lot, but
you have the nice introduction that sort of sets the tone, and then the song kicks in, and you get into the thing, and then that main riff kicks in, and then it just. That's about it. You know what I mean? It doesn't sort of go ba bam bam and then explode into like Hallowed Be Thy Name would have done, or it doesn't go into another section. It just kind of trudges along and then peters out, really, which is a bit of a shame. But I do like the beginning of the song, I will say. It sort of paints an atmosphere, but doesn't tell a story.
Mind you, are they limited by the subject matter? Like I say, I haven't watched the film, I haven't read the book. I've never really been, and I'm a massive sci-fi fan and all the rest of it. But that is almost like, I really can't be asked.
A lot of people say Star Wars nicked the story of it, don't they? It's in a very basic form. It's basically a peasant boy is actually a chosen one and a messiah type figure who discovers the power he has as he goes on. It's like, you could say that about anything, though, wasn't there? There's only 7 narratives and all that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I tried with Dune myself and I found it all. I just couldn't lock in with it.
Yeah.
And when I watched a few bits and bobs trying to sort of give me a little bit of an introduction. Sometimes you watch a review or watch like a guide to video. A lot of sci-fi channels now have like a guide to like watch this before reading the book, and then it kind of sends you on your way. But even while watching them, it was just like, no, you're all right.
There you go.
Yeah. So anyway, never mind.
That's peace of mind at a close.
So in conclusion, I think this is what they kind of say the golden age. I think it's just their sort of class. It's part one of what's teamed to be their classic lineup. I think the golden age started with album 1, personally myself, but I think this is now Iron Maiden fully formed. This is them. Like I said,
Nico was the missing piece of the puzzle, wasn't he?
Yeah, and it kind of loses its momentum towards the end, but I do think the first 6 tracks more than make up for it. And there's songs on this album that are still being played live today, still being played on playlists and radio, and just played by metalers in general today. And I think there's some classic material on it.
Yeah.
So I'll meet you halfway though. I do think great songs, but production does leave you wanting, because time and time again, when you point to any live version of the song, just pick a song, the live version of it is better. Yeah. And so there is something lacking in the production, which it's a shame, because I'm not sure what happens. Everything else was in place, and everything carried on being in place for some reason. So maybe being remixed or rejiggled somehow it's in need of. I don't think there's much point in re-recording it, but maybe did a whole thing live. I don't know.
What you scoring?
I'm a good 8 out of 10 for me.
Yeah,
for the songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's poor production, which is an anomaly because Killer's Number of the Beast sounded quite good, Power Slave sounds good, and so on and so on. But productions went down the pan on this, and the ending this album, the last 3 tracks, which represents a third of the tracks, to be such poor quality. It mars what should have been a classic, and for me it's 6 out of 10. And I know that's going to set off all the old Maiden crusties, but fight
6
me,
out of 9.
because it's it ruins it. And whenever people talk about this album with reverence, it makes me cringe, because I'm not hearing what they're hearing. I think they're too stuck in the past with it being the classic lineup and all that bullshit, treating it for what it is. The first 6 tracks, they're great, and if you play them live, they'd be 6 of the best songs of the night. Well, one of them already is one of the greatest metal songs of all time. But sound-wise, they're let down majorly, and the last 3 tracks are not even worth fucking recording. It was a waste of money. They should have just fucking spent that recording portion of that in the pub.
Yeah.
But for me, this is the start of a problem, or a continuance of a problem with Maiden, with filler, where they've got to fill we must fill the 45 minutes. We must fill the 8 tracks or the 9 tracks. It's like, so they put some shit in there, and this carries on all the way through the classic era. But I'll deal with that obviously on an album by album basis.
Yeah, I would have. I don't know what the B-sides are in this era, but
Cross-Eyed Mary from Jethro Tull was one.
So it's covers.
Yes, it was always covers.
Yeah,
they never had any original material until.
I would drop Quest of Fire and Sun and Steel and maybe keep Tame the Land maybe as just a closer, but I don't know.
Out of 3, Tame the Land's got a better shot of hanging around.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like I say, no, better things to come from this lineup.
Okay, and I think that concludes it.
Indeed.
So next week we've got Power Slave, and then the week after that we've got Diano.
Yeah, we start diversifying. Yeah.
So, as always, thanks for sharing and watching. But please like and share.
Yeah, share it. Yeah.
And we're going to be going. We're in for the long haul. So we'll see you all next week. And that's it from Maidencast.
Laters.